Hey everybody, welcome to day 5 of Power 30. I'm not sure how the weather is out there for you, but out here in California it is wet and it is cold. In fact, it was kind of funny tonight, this evening at the school. It was like there was a flash flood warning, and it was great because it's like nobody had really drove their boat to work, so I wasn't really sure how we were going to get out of that. You know what I mean? All right, it wasn't that funny, but it's California. You know, it's like when it rains, especially out here in Southern California, when it rains, people panic and they just create gridlock out of nowhere. Accidents happen. It's really kind of a sad event, but Southern Californians truly don't know how to take a lot of rain, so it is like a little panic. So we do get flash flood warnings. All right, we're a little, interesting on that level. Just to recap, day 1 was accepting 2019 as it comes. Just being, knowing and expecting that whatever comes your way is going to be for the benefit of your life from there on out. That 2019 is going to give you gifts that may be wrapped in different types of wrappers, but they're to your benefit, regardless of how they come. Maybe it's your year of patience. Maybe it's your year of standing still so that you can see and nurture yourself and find self. Maybe it's a year of abundance. Maybe it's a year of a job change. No matter what 2019 is, we are going to be thankful and we're going to be open about receiving it. Day 2 was your I am statements, taking what people may have said about you, or perhaps you've even said about yourself, and changing those into a positive outlook and putting I am before it. Day 3 was listening to your gut. There's a lot of times in life we miss out on big opportunities for coincidences or blessings or things to come into our life that we have no idea about because we don't listen to our gut instinct. So make sure, if there's that, thing where it tells you deep inside to go to the gas station late at night instead of going early in the morning, or maybe you're on your way home and something tells you to stop somewhere, you guys, as long as you're in sync with the goodness in your life, and as long as you are doing what you should be doing in a positive sense, you can't be afraid of what that gut's trying to tell you. Some people let pride get in the way. Well, that can't be something for me. I'm not going to go by there right now. I'm not going to go do that. You never know why something's telling you to go and do something. And like I said, somebody brought up a good point. They're like, well, Amy, what if it's like muscle memory and I think I need to go do something? Well, that's different. If it's something that is probably not something good for your life, I don't think that it'd be for your life. You got to make sure that you're able to filter that out. And the best way to do that is to make sure you have a sound mind. And that way that these things aren't something that is bad for you to go and do. Hopefully you'll be able to figure out the two. The other thing was the other night we talked about making the most of where you're at. Some of you are, maybe changing careers or having a life shift, or, maybe you're a student and you can't wait to graduate. Don't skip being the student, because somewhere in that process you're going to gain something that you're not going to gain once you're a graduate. There's only certain things you're going to get from the time right there. Just like when you start a job and you're like, wow, like I'm starting at entry and I used to run this company or do this at that company. How am I starting at the bottom? This is crazy. You guys, there's something you get from every level where you go. And if you have the right heart, the right mind, and the right soul as somebody who's opening the door as a greeter or sweeping the floor or doing that, you're going to have the same heart, mind, and soul when you're up there into management. You can't expect that once you get up there, that's when you're going to start doing good and being good. Like that's out of question. That's out of pocket. Make sure that you are being who you need to be in any element that you're in. Make sure that any moment in life you're giving it 110% then, not just when you get to the sweet spot, or not when you just get where you're trying to go, but right now, because the results come from the whole process. That's what results are. It's the complete process, not just where you get where you're trying to go, but the process from where you started to where you end up. And learning and growing should never stop, but that's a whole nother thing on its own. Sorry. One of the things I want to talk about tonight is, a lot of times we will kill our own dreams. And I know you guys are thinking, oh God, I don't even want to talk about it, because maybe 5 or 10 or 6 months ago, but maybe 5-10 years ago, you gave up a dream, or maybe you just were too afraid of the dream, or maybe you let reasoning or people kind of keep you away from that dream. Well, I have this thing about going, and it's kind of a way to keep motivating me in doing what I'm doing with the Bold Movement and other things in my life. I'll go and I'll research places that I like to go, because it helps me figure out why I like them, what's behind that business, how it got started. And a lot of times what I find is some of my favorite places to go, or where I decide to spend my time or my money, is actually places that have a pretty interesting story behind them that got them started. One of the things I did was I looked up Chick-fil-A, and I'm not sure if you understand that Mr. Cathy, which is the founder of Chick-fil-A, it started with another small restaurant name, but as it went into Chick-fil-A, they told the story of Mr. Cathy, and he has over 6 books that are out. But as a kid, Mr. Cathy always knew in his heart that he was about a people business, not just a business. He would go around selling Coca-Cola bottles. He'd buy a 6-pack for $0.25 and sell those Coca-Cola bottles for $0.05. Well, this is the cutest part of the story to me. So here he is, and he notices that his neighbor or his lady across the street or whoever lives across the street is buying Coca-Cola, but not from him. So he wanted to know, like, why is this person not buying Coca-Cola from me? Like, I'm right here. I'm right across the street. Why would they not want to buy from me? After careful research, he found that if he would cool his refreshments, putting ice on his Coca-Cola, then more people would buy. And so that's what he did. He started taking his Coca-Cola bottles and he would put them into ice, get them chilled, and then he like doubled and tripled in sales. In fact, he won the business of his neighbor. So that's the thing, and he learned at a really young age how awesome it is to find out what it is that people need and what people want, respond to it wholeheartedly, and see the benefits and the outcome of that. And I think that's what we need to do on any level of a dream that we want to take on. The other thing was he also used to deliver newspapers, Mr. Cathy did. So he said that when he delivered newspapers, he would deliver the paper as if he was delivering them to the governor. He would take them to the door with purpose. He would take them to the door as if he was delivering for the governor. Not that he would just be throwing the paper out. And for some of you who, I don't even know if they really deliver papers like that anymore, but when I used to get papers to my driveway, it would irk my nerves when the paper boy would just throw the paper, and it would be somewhere way out there in the driveway that somebody would end up running over. And then if it rained, it was wet. I just wanted it under my little awning in front of the front door, dry. Nobody ran over it. So when I read his story about how he used to place this newspaper at the front door as if he was delivering to the governor, that touched me in a lot of ways. And I was like, wow, what would that have been like to have somebody deliver that type of paper to my door? Pretty impressive, right? Well, it didn't stop there. He also, I guess at one point he was traveling in his older life, and he, the bell boy, the guy that bring your stuff up from your car up to your room, he was bringing it up there. And I guess when Mr. Cathy had said, thank you, he said, it's my pleasure. And he said that resonated with him because the guy said it so heartfelt. He knew that he wasn't just, saying it to say it, but that he meant it. It was his pleasure to serve him. And so that's why he wanted all of the Chick-fil-A franchises to train the cashiers and stuff to say, it's my pleasure to serve you. It's my pleasure. So I thought his story was pretty inspiring. But, the one thing that I got from it is, one, he wanted expansion. But he didn't just expand to expand. He expanded with quality and with people in mind. So if you're out there and your business is struggling, and it's funny because I was walking around the mall tonight, and I was seeing a lot of interesting signs. I seen some that was like, 70% off, buy one thing, get one thing for 50% off. And it's like people were begging for their customers. They were begging because they feared the quality of what they were doing. But when it came down to it, to me, the reason I don't buy at a lot of places is customer service, just to be honest with you. If I walk into a store and I haven't heard a hi or hello or how are you, or you know what I mean, or is there anything I can help you with, it lets me know that they're okay with the money that they're making. They don't need any more. We stopped being personable. We really did. And I think that was a big hindrance on a lot of businesses and a lot of profits, because people stopped serving people and started just serving profits. And what happened in that is profits declined and people started taking their business elsewhere. That whole customer's always right. I don't know if they're always right. But the customer will always go find where they want to spend their money, because you're not the last and the only stop. So it's important to make sure that you're quality based, no matter whatever it is that your dream or your business or whatever you're doing. Here's the thing. People will come. People will go to quality. They will. A lot of us have maybe tried a certain brand and we say, you know what, I won't try that brand again. I tried it because it was a little bit cheaper, but I'm not going to try it again. I'm not saying you have to be the most expensive business out there. But what I'm saying is, don't be afraid to charge or to I guess, believe in what you have, believe in your product. The other thing is that he showed, he thought big. he doesn't have to worry about competition. Chick-fil-A kept their quality. They're closed on Sundays, and they still make more than a McDonald's who's open 24/7. Do you see what I'm saying? He doesn't have to have a 99-cent meal because people still come for that quality chicken. He does a lot of personable stuff too. Like he'll go to events and he'd hand out like stuffed animals, and he was very family based. And he kept that. He kept family as something that was very important to him, and it showed in his work. You know, he had an honest love for his customers. He really did. And I think that's a lot of times when you venture into going into a business, or you venture into going to something, a lot of time you're curious about the bottom line. You want to make sure the bottom line makes sense. To me, the bottom line makes sense if you follow the passion, and you follow the passion for the right reasons. If you're following something looking for a quick hit or a quick turnaround, sometimes it's not going to be as lucrative. And you'll wonder how the little guy made it. Well, the little guy made it because he kept people first. He kept quality first. He kept the reason that he did things as the reason he continues to do things. He wasn't looking for the short gain, but the long gain. And the long gain takes longer. It takes longer to create value. It takes longer to create a following. It takes longer to create certain things. But in the long run, you'll win. I mean, look at Chick-fil-A. They're ridiculous. The lines are long. They don't have a 99-cent menu. You know what else they don't do that always, I love this part. They don't charge me when I want ketchup. They don't. They're bigger than that. They're like, oh, you want ketchup and secret sauce? Oh, and ranch? Okay, well, you can have that. You know what I mean? They're not charging me 35, 45 cents like some of these smaller yet more populated. Like, there's tons of McDonald's. There's tons of Wendy's. There's tons of Carl's Jr.'s. Every time I say I want something, the next question is, okay, it's going to be another 35-cent charge. Is that going to be okay? You know, and I'm like, wow. You know what? I just spent how much with you? And just give me the ketchup. Just give me the packet of ketchup. I'll pay the 35 cents. And then the next time I remember, like, I'm not paying the 35 cents. But Chick-fil-A doesn't charge. And I don't know if you guys have seen their little things that they come in. Like, they're pretty hardcore. Like, they're pretty decent sized. I'm not getting some little... They keep quality. And they keep it simple. But they have invested in being the best at what they do. So let's talk about their competitor, which is another place I looked up to research because my son now prefers this place over Chick-fil-A. Okay? We have a little difference in that, but I will give him credit. It's a great place, and the story's very inspiring, and that's Cane's. I don't know if you guys have been, it's called Raising Cane's, and it's like the chicken finger place or whatever. They too specialize in kind of like chicken fingers. And I will tell you one of the things that I really loved about learning the story of Todd, I think it's Graves, Todd Graves or Todd Groves, is that Raising Cane's, when it opened in 1996, he was told in college by his professor that he had the worst business plan that he had ever seen, and that nobody would ever have a restaurant that would just go for chicken fingers or chicken strips. Wow. So the lesson in that is to make sure that you're careful. You're careful not to take in what everybody says, regardless of what the letters behind their name are. I'm being serious about that. I have some of my nearest and dearest friends. They're very formally educated, and I love them to pieces. But if my friend who's very educated would tell me, you know, Amy, you're crazy for going for your dream. Nobody's ever going to do that for you. I would be appalled because she's smarter than that. She wouldn't do that. And so it kind of like humbled me when I read that, because I could see somebody who he's looking up to for his education tell him, you have the worst business plan known to man, and nobody's going to go somewhere where they're just going to get chicken strips. Well, okay. So Todd went ahead and took a job as a boil maker. He was a boiler maker, and he did that working like 90 hours a week. And basically what he was trying to do was get himself enough money for the down payment. Well, that wasn't enough, so then he took an offshore type of thing, and he did fishing for sockeye salmon, working crazy hours in very dangerous conditions. And he did this because he wanted to open up, you know, this chicken place. Well, he finally did it. He got enough, took out a small loan. He and his partner, they got this old, I think Baton Rouge is where they put the first one. They got an old building, and there was a design that was in this old building that actually gave him the idea for the design for Raising Cane's. It was like red and yellow, and it was like, and so that gave them the font idea for Raising Cane's. Well, originally, I had read in one of the stories that they were originally going to call it sockeye something or something related to what he did to basically have to earn the ability to take out this loan to get Cane's going. So Raising Cane's did so good in their first day when they opened. They were up till 3:30 a.m. serving chicken. Amazing, right? And then the cutest part of the story to me is Raising Cane. Somebody had suggested to Todd to name the place after his dog, and his dog's name is Cane. So I thought that was so cute because, you know, I'm a dog person, so it was adorable to add that twist to it. So don't ever stop at a person's opinion of you. And sometimes, to be honest with you, you don't always, you know, it's some things are just best kept inside. Or you'll find certain people in your life that you'll find that these are people safe to share this dream with, because there's nothing that hurts more than feeling like your dream is being killed by the people that you are most around or the people that you love the most. But you can't blame them, you guys. You got to be open about that. Not everybody is born into an era of dreaming. Not everybody has fought hard to have a dream, and not everybody knows of a dream or has a dream. They're just going off day to day and what they know. So I always I stay empathetic when it comes to people, because I don't know their situation. I don't know why they feel the way they feel. So it's very important to just be in charge of yourself. And if you feel that it's something that you need to keep inside and save for yourself, just be careful who you share your dreams with, because some are there just to tear your tree down, and they'll find every reason to somewhat make it logical, and that little spitfire that they give you will stay in the back of your head somewhere, and slowly but surely it'll kill your dream. Don't allow that to happen. You're better than that, and you're worth it. And like I said, I believe each of us were created with something inside of us to give to this world, to give a little sprinkle. And my thing is, like, maybe you're looking at me and you're like, Amy, I don't have time to chase my dream. I don't want to chase my dream. I have no desire to chase a dream, forget a dream. Well, maybe you were in somebody's life to help them carry their dream. Maybe you are a part of their journey to help them get where they need to go. You don't always have to carry the dream in order to be a part of the making of the dream. So maybe your position is just to help them financially, help them materialistically. Maybe they want to open a store and you have a storefront that you don't use. Maybe they don't have a good running car and you have one that's sitting there parked. Maybe you know a good mechanic. Whatever it is, there's a part of you that can still benefit in the dreamer. You still can. So if you're not the part of the dreamer that carries the dream, maybe you're a part of helping that dreamer. So just remember that as well. Be a part of making the world a better place. And if you know somebody who's trying, please understand that they're going to face a lot of failure. And that's not always fun. But that's what dreamers do. Until they make it, they continue to do that. Another story was, ironically, I'm a big Steve Harvey fan, because there's something real about when the guy speaks, and I appreciate it. And, you know, it took him till he was 38 to get where he wanted to be on the big screen. But a lot of us see Steve Harvey and we don't understand exactly what it was, or for a lot of people for that matter. We see them on the big screen, or we see them where they're at. We don't understand what they went through prior to that. They had to fall in love with the process of that. And we don't care nothing about the process. We just want to see the next show come out. We just want to see the next book come out. We just want to see the next thing come out. But nobody knows that Steve Harvey lived in his car for 3 years. 3 years the man lived in his car. He did. Very inspiring story. If you guys get a chance to look it up, look it up. I listened to it today, and let me tell you, it was beautiful. Stay inspired. Do whatever you can to stay inspired, because there's enough around us to keep us from staying inspired. So sometimes you have to go into a fountain of motivation somewhere, and you have to keep it real with yourself, that you have to keep depositing good stuff into your life in order to feel the good stuff of life. So quality always speaks for itself. Stay quality regardless. Never stop dreaming. Think big for yourself. And that's the one thing I learned about Steve Harvey today too, was when he was talking about a lot of times we ask for the simple things that are in our life right now. You know, Lord, please help me pay for this rent. Why not say, Lord, please help me pay for a mortgage? You know, Lord, please help my car make it through this year so I can get to next year. Why not say, Lord, please bring me that new car that I deserve? You know, you got to think big. Whatever it is in your life, and I'm guilty of it. I really just want to get through this moment, and then I'll worry about the next moment. Well, it's important to always keep the dreams on the bigger picture. Don't lose yourself in the moment trying to think too far ahead, but don't start dreaming for what's ahead even though it seems too far away, because it is possible. It's possible. If you can think it, you can achieve it. You know, and I think he also mentioned that, you know, what we see, what we dream about, those little glimpses, those little things that we see, those are foresights into what is possible for our life. So your imagination is the preview of what can come. So make sure that you understand that. You guys, I know it's been a long one tonight. Thank you for staying with me. Remember, tell yourself at least 2 times a day, in the morning and at night, I can, I will, and I'm worth it. And mean it. Mean it, people. All right. Thank you and have a wonderful night.